You don't exactly wake up. One second, you don't exist. The next, you're suddenly here, shoved into a cramped, dark den beside a pile of squirming siblings that smell like wet fur and dirt. Warmth surrounds you. Your mother's massive body blocks the freezing world outside while her slow breathing echoes through the den like distant thunder. She hasn't eaten properly in months, and somehow, she's still keeping all of you alive. You're blind, helpless, completely unaware that outside this tiny shelter, the forest would happily tear you apart without hesitation. For the first few weeks, life is simple. You squeak, you sleep, you fight your siblings for milk. That's it. But winter never lasts forever, and neither does safety. One morning, your mother suddenly stands. Snow falls from her fur as she claws open the entrance to the den. Light explodes inside. Cold air rushes over your face, and for the first time, you see the world. It's enormous. Towering trees stretch endlessly into the sky. Melting snow soaks the ground beneath your paws. Strange smells drift through the air from every direction at once. Your siblings stumble around beside you like drunk little fur balls trying to understand gravity. And very quickly, you realize something important. You are small, weak, and unbelievably edible. Your mother doesn't comfort you. That's not her job. Her job is survival. From the very beginning, she teaches you the rules of the forest. The lessons are brutal. Nothing here wants you comfortable. Everything here wants something. One afternoon, you're chewing on a twig and pretending it's important when your mother suddenly freezes, completely still. Her ears twitch, nostrils flare. Then you hear it, a low growl rolling through the trees. Wolves. Several of them emerge from the brush, lean and starving, eyes locked directly onto you and your siblings. Your body locks up instantly. Fear crushes the air from your lungs. But your mother moves, and suddenly the forest erupts into violence. She rises onto her back legs with terrifying force and unleashes a roar so powerful it shakes the trees around you. The wolves hesitate, only for a second, then they charge. The pack crashes into them like an avalanche. Claws slash through fur. Blood sprays across the snow. One wolf tumbles backward, screaming, while another barely avoids getting its skull crushed beneath her weight. The pack finally breaks. They retreat into the forest, limping and snarling. Your mother stands there, panting heavily, fur soaked with blood that may or may not be hers. Then she nudges you back toward safety, not gently, like a warning. Pay attention, because next time she might not arrive fast enough. By summer, you start learning how hard survival actually is. You watch your mother tear apart rotten logs searching for insects. You watch her dig roots from frozen ground. You watch her stand motionless in rushing rivers before suddenly snatching salmon from the water with terrifying precision. You try copying her. It goes horribly. Your first fishing attempt ends with you falling face first into the river while the fish casually swim away like they're embarrassed for you. Your mother just watches from the shore, probably wondering how something this useless came from her genetics. But the forest doesn't care if you're learning. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't wait for mistakes. And if you can't keep up, you die. Your first kill happens during a hot summer afternoon. You're wandering near berry bushes when a rabbit suddenly bursts from the undergrowth. Something ancient wakes up inside you. Instinct takes control. You lunge. Your paws slam into the rabbit. It squeals violently beneath you, kicking and twisting as panic explodes through its tiny body. For a moment, you freeze. You weren't prepared for it to feel real. Then you remember your mother, the force, the violence, the survival, and you bite down. The rabbit goes still. Blood stains your mouth. Your chest pounds so hard it hurts. It's messy, ugly, nothing like the effortless hunts your mother makes look easy. But it's yours, and something changes after that. You start paying attention differently. You watch how predators move, how they wait, how they strike. Because the forest isn't just wilderness, it's a battlefield. Every meal is a fight, and every creature is one bad decision away from becoming food. By your second year, you're bigger, stronger, more confident, too confident. You've survived wolves, harsh winters, near starvation, and raging rivers. You've survived long nights of fear, uncertainty of what tomorrow would bring. You start believing you belong here. Then you meet him. It happens during salmon season. You and your mother are fishing quietly when a massive male bear steps from the trees. Everything about him feels wrong. Too large, too calm, too dangerous. Your mother immediately steps forward and roars a challenge that shakes the valley. The male doesn't back down, he charges. The collision sounds like trees smashing together. They slam into each other with horrific force, jaws snapping, claws tearing through flesh. For a moment, you think your mother might lose. Then her claws rake across his face. Blood explodes through the air. The male stumbles, and your mother attacks again before he can recover. Finally, the stranger retreats into the forest, limping heavily. Your mother stands there victorious beside the river, blood dripping from her fur into the water. And in that moment, you understand something important. The forest doesn't belong to the strongest creature. It belongs to the one stubborn enough to survive. Then one day, your mother simply disappears. No goodbye, no final lesson. She leaves to live her own life, and suddenly you realize how much danger she was shielding you from this entire time. The forest feels colder now, larger, hungrier. The first few weeks alone are a disaster. You misjudge scents, lose fights, almost get torn apart by wolves that seem way too excited to find you isolated. By the time you escape, exhausted and bleeding, you finally understand why so few cubs survive to adulthood. Nature isn't designed for fairness, it's designed for efficiency, and most young predators simply don't make the cut. Your first major success alone comes when you discover a fresh deer carcass abandoned in the woods. Steam still rises from the meat. You dive into it immediately, tearing through flesh like a starving monster. Because honestly, you are starving. For a few glorious minutes, everything feels perfect. Then, a twig snaps behind you. You turn slowly. Another bear stands there, bigger than you, older, and clearly interested in taking your meal. He charges instantly. You don't fight, you run. Branches whip across your face as you sprint through the forest, while his heavy footsteps thunder behind you. Eventually, he gives up, but when you finally stop running, two truths hit you at once. You're still hungry, and the forest doesn't care. If you want food, you'd better be willing to suffer for it. By your fourth year, things change. You aren't the terrified cub anymore. Now you weigh hundreds of pounds. Your claws can split tree bark like paper. Your shoulders are packed with muscle built from years of fighting rivers, winters, hunger, and other predators. Smaller animals move out of your way. Even wolves think carefully before approaching. You've climbed your way near the top of the food chain. One afternoon, while patrolling your territory, you smell blood. You follow it to a fresh carcass where a younger bear is feeding nervously. The second he sees you, he freezes, wide-eyed, terrified. For a moment, neither of you moves. Then the younger bear makes the smart decision. He runs. And just like that, the carcass belongs to you. As you feed, realization slowly settles in. You have become the creature you once feared. The forest no longer sees you as prey. Now, it sees you as danger. Years pass, and eventually, your body starts betraying you. Fights hurt longer than they used to. Old injuries ache constantly.
You still win battles, but now every victory feels expensive. You notice younger bears watching you more carefully, testing boundaries, waiting. One day, after a brutal fight, you catch yourself retreating instead of attacking. That's when the truth finally hits you. The forest no longer sees you as untouchable. And the forest is patient. It waits for weakness. It waits for age. It waits for you to slow down. Winter returns once again. Snow drifts quietly between the trees as you crawl into an old den you haven't used in years. It feels smaller now, quieter. Your breathing slows as cold air settles around you. You fought for every scar covering your body. You hunted, survived, ruled, longer than most ever do. But the forest doesn't care about legends. It doesn't mourn kings. It simply waits for the next hungry cub to crawl out into the snow and begin the entire brutal cycle again.